Don't scroll. Don't rush. Because some stories are not meant to be watched fast. They are meant to be felt. This is not just a rugby story. This is a story about endurance. About legacy. About a man who went through pain so deep that quitting would have been understandable. But he didn't. This is the story of Pieter-Steph du Toit. Before the trophies. Before the awards. Before the green and gold. There was a name. Pieter-Steph du Toit. A name that had already lived 7 lives before him. In South Africa, names matter. But in the Du Toit family, names are inheritance. Born on the 20th of August, 1992, in Cape Town, Pieter-Steph entered a world where rugby wasn't a dream, it was a tradition. His grandfather had worn the Springbok jersey. 14 test matches. A prop who stood firm when South Africa needed strength. And now, another Pieter-Steph had arrived. Pieter-Steph didn't grow up in luxury. He grew up in the Rugby Valley, on a working farm. Early mornings. Hard soil. Real responsibility. On a farm, nothing is handed to you. If you don't work, nothing moves. That mindset stayed with him. At Leerschool Rugby Castile, and later Hoërskool Swartland, he wasn't the loudest player. He wasn't the showman. But coaches noticed something else. He never stopped working. When others slowed down, he kept going. At nearly 2 meters tall, he was already physically imposing, but what made him different was his engine. An engine that never seemed to shut off. The Sharks are learning humility. In 2010, Pieter-Steph joined the Sharks Academy. For many young players, this is where ego grows. For him, it's where humility deepened. He played under 19. Then under 21. Then waited. And waited. In 2011, he was named Best First-Year Rugby Student. A small sign. But important. In 2012, he finally debuted professionally. No fireworks. No headlines. Just a young man doing the dirty work. Tackling. Clearing rucks. Learning. Because greatness doesn't announce itself early. From 2012 to 2015, Pieter-Steph stayed patient. He played when called. He trained relentlessly. And then, he made a decision that changed his life. In 2016, he left the Sharks. No drama. No noise. He joined the Stormers. Some questioned the move. But Pieter-Steph wasn't chasing comfort. He was chasing growth. At the Stormers, he wasn't just part of the team. He was the spine of it. Central. Reliable. Relentless. Week after week, collision after collision. Pieter-Steph du Toit stood unbreakable. Until 2019. One moment. One step. One sound no athlete ever forgets. ACL torn. Silence. The season was gone. The future uncertain. What followed weren't stadium lights, but empty gyms. Early mornings. Late nights. Pain that no crowd could see. Loneliness no medal could fix. Then, something extraordinary happened. Not from a surgeon. Not from science. But from family. His father donated a tendon to rebuild his knee. A father giving part of himself, so his son could stand again. This wasn't just recovery anymore. This was sacrifice. Blood for blood. Pain shared. Most men would pray just to walk normally again. Most athletes would accept a quiet comeback. But Pieter-Steph du Toit wasn't chasing survival. He was preparing for war. He wasn't planning to return. He was planning to dominate again. Just as he returned. 2020. A collision against the Blues. What looked like a normal rugby injury turned into something terrifying. A hematoma. Then swelling. Then acute compartment syndrome. Multiple surgeries. Doctors racing against time. This wasn't about rugby anymore. This was about survival. At one point, his career hung by a thread. And yet, he refused to let this be the end. By 2019, something else had changed. Pieter-Steph moved from lock to flanker. And rugby felt the impact. He wasn't just tall anymore. He was everywhere. Tackles. Turnovers. Carries. At the 2019 Rugby World Cup, South Africa marched to the final. England stood in the way. And when the whistle blew, world champions. Later that year, World Rugby Player of the Year, 2019. From hospital beds to the top of the world. In 2021, the British and Irish Lions toured South Africa. Pressure like no other. Pieter-Steph started strong. Then injury struck again. Shoulder damage. Out of the decider. But leadership isn't always loud. South Africa won the series. And his presence was still felt. In 2022, he moved to Toyota Verblitz in Japan. Some thought it was a step away. It wasn't. It was a reset. Different culture. Same discipline. And then 2023 arrived. Rugby World Cup Final, 2023. South Africa versus New Zealand. The biggest stage. Pieter-Steph du Toit made 28 tackles. Not flashy. Not selfish. Just relentless destruction. Final whistle. Back-to-back world champions. Man of the match, World Cup final. And in 2024, World Rugby Player of the Year, again. Immortality confirmed. Off the pitch. He is a husband. A father of 3.